All right, so there is nothing better to me than a nice, crisp, edged out sidewalk. And I'm gonna show you how to do that right now. All right, so this sidewalk, this is my sidewalk in front of my house. It's the only strip of sidewalk I've got that has grass budding up to it. It's about 25 foot long, maybe, roughly. And now we are in April, first week of April, roughly. And I have not edged this since last Thanksgiving. That's how long I've let this go, simply to let it thicken up and dense up, get thicker, denser, all that kind of thing, because for one reason, this dirt next to the sidewalk is going to get hotter than the dirt out here in the grass. It's going to cook up faster, it's going to break down the pre-emergent faster, all those kind of things. It's going to break that chemical barrier down much faster. So I need every bit of protection I can possibly get from weeds germinating along these edges. Now, I am a major fan of the stick edger, and I'll show you what a stick edger is. Now, I always like to start off with a new, fresh blade every single season. And I'm in no more sidewalk than I got. This blade is gonna last me a pretty good while, but I got another video coming. I got blacktop out. My road is blacktop. It's not concrete, it's not curb and gutter, it's straight up blacktop, asphalt. And I also like to edge that out, but I use a stick edger to do it, to keep my lines nice and tight and keep my grass lines straight. So I'll show you how to do that in another video, but I will go through a few of these every year simply because I edge that out as well. Now, changing the blade on these things is an absolute breeze. All you need is a socket and a ratchet. Most of them have a little eyelet hole right here, and you simply stick a little screwdriver or something down in there to hold it. And see, that keeps it from, that locks this bottom tab down. Now, I've already broke this loose, but this is reverse thread. This is an Echo model, PE 260. It is old as the hills. Matter of fact, I think this is one of the first stick edgers that I ever bought. Look at that thing. Man, she is ancient and it still cuts like a champion. But you can see when you put this screwdriver in here, it locks this part so that when you're screwing down your new blade, you got something to bite against. So I always put it in at a T, like so. I don't put it in here because the screwdriver gets in the way. Basically put your nut in your little, I don't know what you call that thing, a little retaining washer or something. And this is reverse thread. So I'm gonna screw it back down on there. Now here's where I see a lot of folks mess up. And I get on my guys all the time about this. You don't have to put 10,000 pounds of pressure on this thing. You just want it snug is all. Look, that's it. That's all I did. See, some folks probably, or maybe, can't tolerate this look throughout the winter. They got to have it edged and tightened up. Well, that's completely fine. If that's what you want to do, you roll with it. You got to remember, everything I do in this yard, even down to my edging, everything has to do with the health of this turf. All right, so if we get down here real nice and close, you can see how far back the edge of my sidewalk is. It's way back here. So, you know, I've got I've got at least that much I've got to cut off. Now I'm not just gonna go throw the stick edge in there and go to digging. I'm gonna ease this back. This is my first time cutting it this year. I've got a little extra time, that's completely okay. And I'm gonna ease this back so that when I put my stick edger on it, I can get a real good look at where the edge of my sidewalk is. And excuse me, you know, I know what you're thinking. A lot of folks say this is just edging the sidewalk. Well, I go a little step further on this. I'm a little OCD on my edges. So let me show you how I do that with this string trimmer first. I'll cut it back a little bit with a string trimmer, then come in here with my stick edger. So now that I've gotten some of that material cut away from the sidewalk, I can look down in there and see my edge a lot better. Now, this is going to be a big difference in opinion for a lot of folks. This right here is what's called a string trimmer, weed eater, trimmer, whatever you want to call it, weed whacker. A lot of people use these to edge hard surfaces, and what I call a hard surface is a surface that is hard, meaning a sidewalk, a driveway, out there by the street, that blacktop, that's hard surface. A soft surface would be that bed or this mulch, because it's, I mean, if the ground's dry, it might be hard, but technically it's not a hard surface. We do use string trimmers to edge out around the edges of beds and stuff, just because it's a little more efficient. But at GCI Turf, it is forbidden that an employee put a string trimmer on a hard surface, or they lose their position within my company, and they know that. It's a very serious pet peeve of mine. So I'm going to show you why that is here in a second. But in a nutshell, human error plays into using this thing. You know, you can walk a straight line and hold this thing dead straight for only a period of time. Well, the stick edger has a metal blade on it, a metal flat blade, and it doesn't change. You get to take out that human error. Let's look right here. You get to take out the human error simply because this is a piece of metal. It doesn't give. It's always going to give you that straight up and down line and that good, clean, straight edge every single time. All right, so once I get this bad boy going, I'm ready to roll. First cut, I am taking quite a bit off. See there? Look at there. It's quite a bit of material I'm taking off. So I'm gonna rake this up, throw it in the trash can. But my routine edging, I kind of have this pet peeve. I edge out my beds every other week. And I edge out my hard surfaces every week. So I kind of skip weeks on my bed edges, but I make sure I hit my sidewalk here every week. And then out by the road, I will edge that every other week, the same week that I edge out my beds. So kind of give these two areas a little break every other week. But this, I kind of like it nice and neat and clean. And then on my routine edging, once I get going after this initial one, then you can just clean it up with a blower because it's not a lot you're cutting off. When I'm doing this, I am not at all trying to dig a hole to china. Okay, I'm barely letting the edge of that blade drop below the sidewalk. That's all I'm trying to do. Matter of fact, sometimes you'll see me and it'll slip out like that, and I'll have to get back in there because I don't want this hole super deep. See, that's the issue I have with using a string trimmer along this edge here, is because this gap gets really, really wide, exposing dirt. And whenever you expose dirt, you're asking for weeds to come up. So the tighter you keep the edge to this concrete, the better off you are. All right, so now I've got it cut, and you're not done yet. To me, the most important part is next. We've got to blow this debris off. Now when I blow, I'm gonna blow that crack out as clean as I can possibly blow it. And in the process, it's gonna kind of stand that grass up a little bit to give me an even tighter look. Well, there you go. I hope that helps. Go pick yourself up a stick edger. Hey, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this and learned a little something. Be sure to like and subscribe and share it, all that cool stuff. And talking about subscribing, we hit that 5,000 mark. And man, I'm grateful. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing to the channel. But hey, Matthew Vail, V-A-I-L, Matthew Vail, if you're watching this, why don't you message me through YouTube, and I'm gonna get your address. I'm gonna send you a free BioStimulant pack. Now, when we hit 6,000 subscribers, I'm gonna send somebody a free natural adjuvant starter pack. So be sure to share and tell your buddies. Hey, just a little update on the Milorganite and Academy fertilizer. I've got the test results back prior to or pre-application. So I'm gonna give it about, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll send off another soil test using both labs, and we'll do a video comparing everything. But I can say this, the Academy side is maybe a little bit thicker than the Milorganite side. I cut both sides today, and the way I judge that is simply by watching the grass clippings fly out the side of the deck. More clippings were leaving the deck on the Academy side, so that just tells me that maybe it's grown a little bit more, or it's just a touch thicker. Not light years difference, not a major drastic difference, but a little bit of difference there. So hey, hope you learned something about your edges. Get your edges right.